All right, welcome back to season 5 of our show, and it's the holiday season. We're kicking it off with a roast. Let's show you how to get it done. All right, so it's that time of year again. So we're doing a roast today. This is a pork roast, pork loin roast, bone in. Now, I don't want you guys to get nervous about this, but a lot of people get nervous when it comes to a roast. I think roasts are the easiest thing to cook. So this weighs about 6 pounds, bone in. Now I'm just going to show you something. If you cut this bone down here, you have loin chops. That's what they are. And if you take out this piece right here and just go down the side and cut this, you would have loin spare ribs. And that's what that is, or baby backs. You can see it right going down the side here. The roast is whole today. We're leaving everything intact, one big piece. Now what I also did, I cut this in half. So this is half of the roast. And I also put slits in the bone. I didn't take out the bone. So during the holiday time, you'll see a lot of butchers will put this out front to the display case and they'll cut this piece of bone right out of here. I never take out that piece of bone because it will dry out the meat. It's still loin meat and it's still really lean, and you'll dry this piece of meat right out. So always make sure you have your butcher put little slits in here. If not, you're gonna have to pull out a hacksaw and do it yourself. So this is how you want this. Keep it intact. Let's show you how to get it seasoned. So right here, I have our spices. Now we're going sweet today. 5 spice, black pepper, and brown sugar. Now inside the 5 spice is coriander, cumin, garlic, ginger, cloves, mace, fenugreek, cinnamon, cardamom, and nutmeg. And usually you would have a black pepper in here, but I have the peppercorns right here. So let's just do this. Let's get this mixed up. Now, like I say all the time, if you don't like my ingredients, make it yours. But we're gonna stuff the inside of this. And we want the outside to match the inside. So we want everything to just blend in very good with each other. And there you have it. Just like that. Now you can also save this. If you have any left over, you can save it for something else. So I'm just going to put this back. The first thing that I do, I put on is salt. I'm going to put on a good amount of this kosher salt, diamond kosher salt. This is a big roast, so you're going to need a lot of this. Let's move it over here. Keeping one hand clean so I don't contaminate my salt. And just get the backs. Now first I'm going to season this, then I'm going to show you how to get to the inside and season the inside, or stuff the inside. So once you get your salt on, you got a good amount of that salt. Olive oil. Let's get that on. And just rub it in. And get a good amount of that in. All right, so here is our seasoned spice mix. Start to sprinkle that on. I'm gonna rub this in and pat it in and make sure you get all of it. Now before you go stuffing this guy, you want this to just sit on the roast and work its way in and start to dissolve. Make sure you get a good amount of that in there. When this cooks, that sugar is just going to caramelize right onto this roast. And then you got this nice sweet roast. And that's going to mix with all of the 5 spice in here. The cloves, the garlic, the cinnamon. It's just a really beautiful combination. And I'm going to smoke this today. And we're going to let the smoke hit it. And then you're going to have that spice from the smoke. Or the seasoning from the smoke, because smoke is a seasoning. A lot of people don't realize that smoke is the seasoning. You can have too much smoke or too little smoke. All right, so let's just get that in. I'm gonna go a little bit more on top. And now this time I'm just gonna pat it right into the roast, right on the top. The sides don't make a difference, but make sure you get the top real good. because that's going to make your crust. That's the first thing that everybody's going to hit when they bite into it, is right there. All right. So what I'm going to do from here is I'm going to get my hands cleaned up, and I'm going to meet you right back here to show you how to stuff this, so stick around. Don't go anywhere. All right, so our roast is done now, and now it's time to show you the stuffing. So right here we got some apples. These were the red apples that we had over here. I cut some of these red apples up, so what we'll start to do is just get those into the food processor. I got some raisins and garlic. So most of this garlic we're going to leave off to the side, because we're going to stuff this in the roast, and I'll show you how to do that between the bone blades. And let's just get a little garlic in here and some raisins. Bunch of those raisins you want in here. All right, now we're going to go with some more apple. So basically the inside is raisins and apples. And that's what we're going to stuff our holiday roast with. It'll just bring out all that flavor in the pork. All right, so now we got that in there. A little olive oil, just to smoothen things out, just a touch. And just a little bit of the Captain Spice rum. All right, let's give this a whirl. A little bit more. And that's about where you want it. You want to be able to stuff it and seal your stuffing in there. So you don't want to pulverize it to nothing. You want to just hit it just like that. All right, so let's start to stuff this roast. We're going to take all of this stuffing and put it right into here. This way you have it. Put this right back. So just get all your stuff together. You can see the consistency of that. Look at that. That's going to go right in and stay in. Any more mushy? Not good. All right, so here's our roast. And what I'll do is I'll go in from the small side. And here we go. So I'm going to take my knife and I'm going to make an incision right in there. And just go straight down and right through to the bottom. So you can see it come out the other side. There it is. And we'll catch that on the other end. So let's just pull this out, being very careful. And now I'm going to go to this end and make an incision there. Make sure I'm in there too. And there it is. All right. Now we get the stuffing. So we're just going to take this, get the spoon in there, and just get it down in there. And just make sure you're pushing it as you go. And you'll know you're getting it down in there because you see it slowly starting to disappear. So now I'm going to use my hands and get my fingers in there. Make the hole big enough, and when you're cooking it, that hole's going to close up because it's going to cook back together again, that meat. But you're going to keep that meat nice and moist and juicy. All right, we're going to get the stuff in this, and then we're going to meet you back here to show you where that garlic goes. So stick around. Don't go anywhere. Okay, so our roast is stuffed, and I'm just going to show you where to put the garlic next to the joints in the back, next to the bone blades. All right, so here's our stuffed piece of meat. You can actually see it, it's firmer, and we got it nice and stuffed. All right, so you want to turn on this side, and right in the middle of the joints here, you just want to create a little pocket. Just right here. in between. You can actually see the juice come out of there. I'm just gonna poke them all. There it is. Make sure you got a pretty big hole. Going through the other side. Now you got to take your whole garlic and just stuff it in those holes. Just like that. Just get a couple of them inside. And when you're cutting this roast, you'll see it. Alright, so let's get those in. And at this point, if you want to stuff it with more apple, like here, you can. I like to use the apple afterwards just to clog the hole. You can stuff the whole thing in like that. But we didn't put the garlic yet, so let's just get the garlic in there. Cut the apple and close the hole. There it is. Close the hole and just stuff more garlic in there. And continue. All right, we're gonna get this stuffed, and again, we're gonna meet you right back here, so stick around. Don't go anywhere. All right, so we got our cooker set to 275 degrees. We are smoking this today. I wanna show you this now that it's all stuffed, because there's one last step that you wanna do. Look at that. That looks good before it's even cooked, right? Now we gotta set the color. So we're using a little vegetable oil just to go on here, and this is how you wanna do that. Just like that. Just like you're painting it. And just go underneath. A good blast of that. There you go. Onto the cooker we go. All right, we're gonna get this on quick. Bones side down and bones towards the flame. So we're gonna go right here. Let's close up. That's my fire setup. Indirect. Now I'm gonna put my potatoes and my onions in there. We'll meet you back here. Stick around. Don't go anywhere. All right, along with our roast goes a little sweet. We're making you some sweet yams. Let's show you how to get these done. All right, so sweet yams. Nothing says holiday time without sweet yams. Very simple to do. These go along great with all your holiday meals because they're very sweet. They're basically sweet potatoes. If you never had these smoked, you're in for a huge treat. So the first thing I'm gonna do is get these oiled up. Now I think I'm gonna hold back one and I'm gonna go in with some onion because I liked smoked onion as well too. So we're gonna show you how to do both. So we'll show you how to do some sweet potato and some smoked onion. Put a little olive oil in the basket and let's get these guys oiled up. This is going to assure that the skin comes out really nice on these. So a little oil in the basket. And just put them right in here. Just an easier way to do it with the oil and another pot or pan. All right, there it is. And now what I also like are roasted onions because they're very simple and easy to make, especially with the holiday time. So what I'll do is I'm gonna put 2 onions in here. Make sure I get this right. Make sure everything fits. And now I got my onions and I got my potatoes, and that's it. They get roasted. This time we're smoking these, so we're gonna have smoked, roasted potatoes and onions. Onto the grill we go. All right, look at that roast. She's coming along good. I'm only about 20 minutes in. Now let's get our potatoes in here. And our onion. There we go. Right in there, perfect fit. I'm gonna drop a couple more pieces of wood here. I'm cooking with pecan today. And that's it. We'll meet you guys back here when we're ready. So stick around. Don't go anywhere. Alright, so we got our meat smoking away, or yams, or onions. Now we got a beautiful rice on the way. Let's show you how to get it done. Alright, so you're going to need 4 cups of wild rice. So I got a mixed rice here. So it's got some multi-grain in here and some nice wild rice in here. It's a nice mixture. Right here we got a little sage, oregano, garlic in here. Garlic powder, that is. And thyme. Alright, so now we have some sweet. We got some cranberry in here we're going to add to this. So put all the cranberry in. And now we're going to need some onion in here. The onion's just going to bring out the flavor of the rice. Now that's optional. You don't have to put the onion, but I always add the onion because it just gives that rice a beautiful feel, texture, and flavor. So just make sure you chop it up good, no specific way. You can make it as big or as small as you want. I like them small, so we're going to go a little bit smaller on these. I don't feel you should pull onions out of your mouth as you're eating rice, so just get them chopped up. And into the pot they go. I think I'm only going to use half of that. You know, it's funny, around the holiday times, everyone cooks the same thing every year. Every year, same turkey, same traditions. Now this year we're switching things up. So we're going to show you guys a few different recipes for the holidays using various different meats. So this way you're not stuck with the same old all the time. Alright, a little salt. It's a good pinch of that. And this is homemade chicken broth. Now I usually put these in ice trays, stick them in the freezer, and I could just melt them. So 4 cups of rice, 2 cups of rice, 4 cups of water. Or chicken broth, either or. Now we're going to add a little bit more to that because that's probably not going to be enough. And we're going to add to this as we go along, so onto the stove we go. Alright, so we got our rice on simmer. I dropped some butter inside. This is the way you want it to look. So we jack the heat up. I turn the rice down and let it go low. And this is how you want it. So 45 minutes to an hour, this rice is going to be done. This rice takes a long time to cook. It's real wild rice, so that's why it takes so long. We'll meet you back here. Stick around. Don't go anywhere. Alright, time to wrap this guy up. So right here I have some chicken stock. I'm going to put a little chicken stock in the bottom of this pan because I want that to make that meat nice and soft. So we're just going to braise a little bit coming to the end. So I'm going to get my gloves on because this thing is hot. Alright. Look at that. We got good color. She's looking great. I'm just going to roll it over. And I'm going to put it right back on the bone side. Right in there. Now I'm just going to get my grill closed down. And now we're going to start to wrap this. Look at that. She's looking beautiful, right? That's how you want that. She's got beautiful color on it. Now let's just wrap her up. Now I didn't probe this at all. I could just tell by the bones. See how the bones are just starting to come through? So she's ready, but she's not tender. So let's get her tender. Now I wouldn't be able to put this in the aluminum if this guy didn't shrink up. So because this shrunk, that gave me time to put this in the aluminum and the foil pan. So that's why it went on the rack by itself. So we're about 2 hours in, 2 hours, 10 minutes. And now I just want to get those bones pulled up and I want this meat fork tender. I don't worry about temperature because I look at those bones. Those bones are your thermometer. They're gonna let you know when this thing is ready. So you can see them, they're just popping through. They're gonna get long in the bone, and that's it. All right, nice wrap on there. And I'm going to put another piece of aluminum on the top of here just to really seal that in. So one more piece, and then we're going to let this go for about an hour to an hour and a half. Then we're going to pull it. And if you want to probe it, you can probe it right through the aluminum. That's it. Nice tight wrap. A lot of people think they need to wrap the entire roast in aluminum, but you could use your pans. That's what they're for. And you put some braising liquid on the bottom, something with some flavor, and now you got a nice liquid to braise in. And there it is. All right, so we're going back on. Just like that. And we'll meet you guys back here, so stick around for the final pull. Don't go anywhere. All right, this meal is not complete unless it has a beautiful sauce to accompany that pork. Let's show you beautiful applesauce. All right, so we got some apples here, and what they're doing is they're soaking in apple cider vinegar. So I let that soak for about an hour, and this is the way I did the apples. So this is the skins from them. Just take them and peel them. Very simple, easy way to get this done. Just peel around in a circle. Now I've been doing this apple cider sauce with spiced rum for a few years now. And I'm sharing it with you guys today because nobody has this recipe. And I'm giving it to you guys today. So here we go, here's our apple. Use whatever apples you like. The Granny Smith seemed to get a little bit bitter on you, so you might want to use just a regular red apple. Cheapest ones you can find. So we got that done. Now we're just going to core it. So go down the middle, spin it around, pull out the core. There you go. And we're just going to finish the core on the other side. And just decore that. Now we got that. Split the apple in half. Still got a little piece of the core left, but it's okay. Just take it, get it out of there. And we're just going to cut them into slivers like that. And into the water they go. Actually, into the vinegar they go. Now when you soak them in the vinegar, they're going to take on that nice vinegary taste. Apple to apple cider vinegar. That's what you want. So we got that. And we need a little red onion. So what we'll do is we'll just slice some of that down. There it is. And leave them like that. I'm going to just put them in the pot first. So here's our pot. All right, here's our apples. Just drain them. Don't worry about getting all the apple cider out of there because you're going to need a little bit. So into the pot they go. Now here's that leftover rub that we used for the roast itself. I put some white sugar on the side of it, so we're just going to mix it and right in with that. As much sugar or as little sugar as you want. And here's that spiced rum. So we're going to go in with a good douse of that. Yes, maybe a little bit more. We're going to cook this down and cook all the alcohol out of that. We'll meet you onto the stove, so stick around. Don't go anywhere. Alright, so these have been on the stove now for about 10 minutes. And what we're doing is we're cooking out the alcohol and we're making the apples very soft and tender. So the last thing you want to do before we put the lid on these and let them just cook down to make a beautiful sauce is add a little salt. I'm going to add a little sea salt to this just so I can punch up that savory flavor in here. And that's it. So we're going to let this cook down, put the lid on it, let it go for about 15 minutes to 20. Meet you right back here. Don't go anywhere. All right, so our applesauce is done. Now we just need to blend it up. So I tasted this and it needed just a little bit more cloves. So I'm adding a little bit more clove and a little bit more cinnamon to my liking. Make it yours. So I'm just going to mix this up. All right, there we go. Now, what we'll do is we'll hit it with the blender. All right, and there you have it. And there it is. Homemade applesauce. Let's give that a shot. Outstanding. That's a very mature applesauce. Grind this down just a little bit more, make it a little bit more smoother. That's it. We're gonna let this cool down and then chill it out and put it in the fridge. I'll meet you right back here. Stick around. Don't go anywhere. All right, we are done. Time to pull this stuff. So let's get our potatoes out of here and our onions. Look at that. And then we're going to pull the meat. All in the same tray. How convenient is that? All right, we'll meet you inside. Don't go anywhere. All right, here we are, season 5's bone-in pork loin smoke roast. Let's show you what we got. Look at that guy. Now, that's how you want to see that. You can see the skin draw it up as it cooked, which is no big deal because it's all up here now. So let's get into this. I'm just going to move this off to the side. Look at all that juice it made. Now I put a little bit of juice down on there, but then the rest of it, that's all the roast. So we're just going to pick it up this way by the bone. We let this rest for a little bit, and now we're going to carve it. So what I like to do is just turn it this way, and I'll follow the bone. So I'm just going to take my knife, and right between the ribs, just come down. Just like that. I'm going to turn it over and find my spot to cut it right through. So I'm just going to separate it here. Once you get the first one off, the rest of it falls right behind it. Ooh, that's still hot. All right, here we go. So here's the first one. And we're just going to pull it apart. And look at that. That's the inside, the stuffing, and we're going to spin this around for you and show you that. Beautiful. All right, let's get this off to the side. I'm going to put it back in its juice, and we're going to show you the rest of this meal. You can see that beautiful smoke ring in there. All right, so here's the onion. We're just going to open this up And we're going to peel it, because we want this on the plate. Look how juicy that is. I'm just going to take off the skins around it. Now you can serve this in the skin or out of the skin, but just make sure you peel it. And it's still very hot. So I'm just going to go like that. And this one I'm just going to roll right out of the skin. Just like that. So that's how you would open this one up. And usually I just go down, I'll turn it like this, and I'll come down like this. Like a blooming onion. And that's it. Let's turn that back over. And there you have it. All right. And we're just going to show you those yams. The sweet potatoes. So I'll put this on the bench. And I'm just going to cut this open just to show you how tender that is. Knife goes right through. I'm going to cut it in the middle. We're just going to push up. Look at that. Gorgeous. Alright, we're just going to get organized and we're going to meet you right back here, so stick around. Don't go anywhere. Alright, and we're back officially. Season 5's chopping block. Time to plate up. So let's bring in a plate. And now everything we show you, we're just going to put on a plate. So let's get that nice piece of pork in there. And we're going to bring that sweet potato in. Followed by a beautiful piece of butter. Let's just get that butter right in there while it's still hot. Alright, here's that onion. So we're going to take some of that onion, and I think we're just going to get it over here next to the pork. Just like that. This way that pork has nice onion with it. Alright, and here's that rice that we made. So we got some beautiful rice here. Just gonna bring my plate over. And we're gonna get our rice right in there. You can see all those nice cranberries in there. That's a real hearty rice. All right. And now, here's that applesauce. Look at that. So what I like to do is you can take some and put it on the plate, but I like to just drizzle some of that right onto the pork, just like that. I'm gonna get a little bit more there. Just let it go right down on that pork. And of course, we have to clean up our plate a little bit. I mean, it's barbecue, so nothing too fancy. And then what I like to do is just park just a little greenery on the plate, because it always makes things pop. And there it is. All right, I'm just gonna spin this around and let you guys see what I'm looking at. There it is. So with no further ado, let's get into this. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try some of that pork. Look at that. Some of that applesauce. Let's give that a go. Wow, that stuffed pork with the 5 spice on there, and all the spices that we put on there works beautifully with that applesauce. I mean, that's a match made in heaven right there. All right, let's try that rice. That's a very earthy rice. It needs that cranberry, brings up the sweetness and that earthiness. Perfect combination. Last but not least, let's try that sweet potato. Perfectly cooked. It's sweet, not too sweet. That butter sets it off. That's a salted butter, by the way. And we almost forgot to try that onion. Let's give that a shot. That onion's salty and sweet. Excellent combination. I hope you guys give this one a shot for the holidays. All right, we're gonna get organized and we're gonna meet you guys right back here, so stick around. Don't go anywhere. All right, there it is. A smoked, stuffed pork loin roast, bone in. We smoked that to perfection. Took about 2.5 hours to 3 hours. We smoked that with some beautiful potatoes, sweet potatoes smoked, and some smoked onion. Everything smoked. Homemade applesauce and cranberry wild rice. You cannot go wrong with this meal. Hope you guys enjoy this one. Make it for the holidays. Thank you. We enjoyed you coming. Until the next time. Gotta get that little Pitmaster taste there.